Hi, I'm Alan Ross, and we are at Distributech 2025. We've got interviews with thought leaders, and we'd love for you to see what we've done here. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Our next guest is Judson Thillinghast.
Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah, and we've met before, but I haven't heard your story about how you got into the industry. Tell us a little bit about how you got into your current role, and a little bit about your current role.
Sure, yeah, it's kind of quite the ride. So I started at APS about 14 years ago. My wife was working at the time and told me about a position, and I was working for a venture capitalist at the time. So I started off in an analytic role in supply chain. After a few years, got pulled into finance, and then started working on the trading floor doing business intelligence analytics. Okay. It's a great title.
Floor. Wow.
Yeah. So got some exposure that kind of opened my eyes. Saw a position on the renewables team that I thought was interesting. Joined that group, which was then called our customer to grid solutions team. So I was in that group for a long time. So we developed green energy tariffs, microgrid programs, electric vehicle programs, demand side management programs, really all the fun, cool things to do of like how we can build, here's a new technology our customers want, let's build a program around that. Okay. And I think that's really the experience that kind of led into this current role. So about a year ago now, me and one other person, Ali Kozlow at APS, were asked to leave our respective teams, and focus 100% on this new challenge we have. So we need some creative solutions on how we're going to solve this wave of primarily data center, extra high load factor type customers that are looking to move to our service territory.
And your current title is?
Manager of Data Center Strategy.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, so they have a manager focused on data centers. And it's a huge challenge for utilities right now. So I can see why they have that level of focus at Arizona Public Service. You've got a pretty significant territory there, and probably a lot of people that want to build data centers in the area. Huh?
We've got our fair share, So Ali Kozlow is my director. She has a federal regulatory background.
Oh, okay.
And I've got some experience in developing new products through a regulated utility environment. So they kind of put us together to solve this challenge. But yeah, so we've got, in 2017, we created a new tariff that really helped bring some data centers to our service territory. At that time, we were looking at ways to sort of raise the belly of the duck, and high load factor customers can do that. So
when you say a tariff, that's a fee you're charging?
The tariff is a rate.
A rate,
That's just for customers that have a 92% load factor or higher. So effectively, pretty much just data centers and a few other industries are capable of that.
And load factor, you mean it's on all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
Right.
Running, pedal to the metal.
Okay.
So
are you charging them more to supply power to that level of
Not
service?
Charging them more. It's based on the cost to serve. Okay. So what we found out is, especially at that point in time, we could bring some of those customers on without having to build out new resources for them.
Oh.
So we were using up existing headroom on our system, which actually brought down costs for everyone because the same resources are serving more kilowatt hours.
Sure, that makes sense.
Then you hit a breaking point, and you need incremental resources. You need new resources. So now you have more expensive resources you need to procure to continue to serve this type of load growth. So as a utility, we peak just over 8.2 gigawatts. And we've committed to serve 4.7 gigawatts of additional customer growth. 2/3 of that is data center. Got some large industrial like the TSMC semiconductor factory, some other customers in that mix. So that's over the next 10 years. That's an incredible amount of growth in a short period of time. Then beyond that, we have this other bucket, this what we call uncommitted data center, prospective data center customers, and they've joined our queue, but that queue is in excess of 15 gigawatts now. Wow. So on top of the 4.7 of growth, there's another 15 gigawatts of demand. That's 90-something% data centers that we just don't have the resources to serve them today.
Wow. So what is that? 3 times? I'm trying to keep track.
It is.
It's a lot of
3x.
And
they want the power now, and I get that. And so our primary focus was how can we serve at least some of these customers? How do we figure out who's real? How do we make sure we can grow in a way that's reliable and it's safe, and not put our customers from a financial risk as well? Because a lot of the assets to serve these types of customers are long-term assets. So what happens if some of this is a bubble, right? And we build assets and they're not spinning the meter, it becomes a cost shift.
That's a huge challenge. Are you going to have some kind of I mean, I'm not asking you to divulge anything privately,
Sure.
but just conceptually, do you anticipate there'll be some type of terms that you say, hey, if you decide tomorrow you're not going to have a data center here, there's going to be some consequences? I mean,
that's exactly what we're doing. Okay. And there's different policies and we're putting in place for customers who are in the committed bucket.
Right.
So we're putting in some minimums for those customers, and we'll see that with the uncommitted bucket as well. It'll be even more stringent. But I think demand minimums and sometimes even energy minimums will become the standard for utilities. We see it. We're watching what other utilities are doing, and I think you really have to.
In another panel today with a couple other utilities saying something similar. So,
well, the good news is too is that data centers, I mean, they don't want to shift cost onto other customers, but so they're taking the right approach. They understand like why we need this for the protection for the outer year risks of growing at this pace.
Right.
So they're on board with that. And that's the good.
So that's a massive challenge. Are you vertically integrated? Do you actually have?
We are.
So you actually have your own generation. So you're going to be building more generation.
That's correct.
And
whether we own it or not own it is up to a lot of different decisions on on funding,
but then you will also have to build more transmission and distribution to serve that. Right?
All the above, and we know what the timelines on those are, right?
Okay.
So transmission's 10 years.
How much of that do you own? At what, or is it different for different customers? At what point do you say, okay, this is what we're delivering? Do you own the distribution all the way up to, say?
We're not going to own everything.
Okay.
It's really hard to say, but we have a capital plan in place for what we've committed to, and that's in our integrated resource plan, our IRP. We don't have a plan yet for the uncommitted bucket. So that extra 15 gigawatts, we have to think about how we're going to raise capital for that. Do we want to own it? A lot of some of the data centers will come to us and say they'll pay for the infrastructure and they can transfer it to us. They seem to be willing to be a financial partner. I don't believe they want to be in the utility business, but if they think that can help expedite a timeline,
that makes sense.
They're willing to be creative in that space.
I'm a big fan of doing what you do well.
Exactly.
On it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that really makes a lot of sense, and certainly a huge challenge. But it sounds like you're really starting to find some solutions that are reasonable.
We are.
Even 30 years ago with the unthinkable, right?
Right, and that's part of the good news is the data centers have been really open with us. We're being candid what our problems are, and they're coming to the table with solutions as well. So we do believe that we can partner with them on some long-term contracts. What we're looking at is really probably in the special contract space, which would need approval from the Arizona Corporation Commission. But putting in place a process, timelines, resources that we know we could reliably serve and we could prove isn't shifting costs to other customer classes. Right. So it's really a growth pays for growth strategy is what we're approaching. And it gets really messy when you get into the weeds, and we're building this airplane while we're flying it. So it's not finalized yet, but we're still spending a lot of time kind of getting in how the cost of service will work and how the right way to allocate and a fair way to allocate cost to the customers classes that are requiring this type of growth.
Oh, that sounds like a fascinating ride. It sounds like you've got plenty of opportunity for not just growth in generation, but your career. I mean, it's going to be the focus.
It keeps us busy. It keeps us busy.
Of this next generation of activity for utilities. Well, that's fascinating. I do have another question for you, just related to Distributech here. We're here live at Distributech, and you've been participating in some panels, or you will be participating in panels. What's the value of Distributech to you?
I like to hear what everyone else is up to. Like, kind of use this as an extension of consulting, right?
Okay.
Here's my problem. How would you approach it? What have you seen the market doing? So it's really gathering. It's an intel gathering session, and I've made a lot of contacts here over the years. That's been really valuable. It gives a little inside information of how other utilities are approaching this, how companies are providing solutions. We've had a lot of folks approach us about, bridge power until utility power can get there and what we can do in that space. New technologies that, aren't available today, but may be available in the near future to be part of that solution. So it's really just learning what else is out there in the market that we could sort of utilize to help, accelerate the timeline for in-service dates for these data centers.
Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know more about you and the challenges you're facing and some of the solutions that you're finding. Any closing comments for our audience?
No, just thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was a great conversation, and check back soon. We'll probably have some more to share on how this approach is going. So it's an exciting time.
A little further.
That's right. That's right. Exactly that.
Judson,
hey,
great talking with you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.